She should be joining us shortly. There she
Hi,
is.
John.
How you
How are
doing,
you tonight?
Suzanne? Good, good. How are you?
Good.
Good. I was
Welcome
just
to my studio.
in your studio there. That's great. That's great. I
Little
am
part
not.
of
I was just talking a little bit about Artners Gallery and some of the background, some of the history of the gallery, and how
Oh,
we.
go ahead. Sorry,
No,
didn't mean to.
just talking about how we got started, and um, we started mostly just trying to introduce the world to modern art or fine art jewelry. Back in 2012, there really wasn't too much in the way of that sort of thing online, other than Art for Home. But of course, Art for Home is a wonderful gallery, but it does more than just jewelry. And we wanted to zero in exclusively on fine art jewelry. So we've been doing that since 2012, as I said. We have, I think, 27 jewelers today on the gallery. And all of our jewelry is handmade in North America by many jewelry artists that are award-winning in their own rights. So that's pretty much where we are today.
You have
Suzanne is
a
one.
you
Yep.
have a really impressive collection of jewelers. It was actually one of the it was the top reason I really wanted to be a part of it. I mean, a lot of the jewelers on your site are people's jewelry that I've admired for years.
Thank you. Thank you. We were very happy that you were able to join us.
Me too.
Yeah, Suzanne's one of our more recent artists. I think you joined about, what, 3 months ago or so?
Oh, it's
Thereabouts?
so hard to tell in these times. I think it was,
It
yes.
is like one day is just like the next. It all runs together here. I know. So, well, all right. Let's see now. I was saying that many of our artists come from overseas and then they settle here. But you are homegrown.
I am home ground. I grew up probably mostly in Long Island. And even growing up there, always wished I had lived in the city. And moved to Paris for a little while and came back and moved to the city. And then my husband dragged me out of here, out of the city like 12 years ago up to Katona, New York.
It's a beautiful area, Katona.
Yeah, it is. Lots of
Yes,
green.
yes. Very green, very peaceful.
Yes, if it couldn't be the city, it had to be the opposite.
Well, yeah, I think during these times it must have been a great place to be.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, can walk easily into all different preserves and just even on dirt roads that I live on. So, yeah.
That's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you got to where you are today. From what I understand, you were very interested in textiles and patterns when you were young, and your grandmother had a big influence on you.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of my jewelry, except for the pearls that I'm just fascinated with, is really, it's all stitched. And what I mean by that is that I will sew through with either fine silver or 22 karat gold like I'm wearing. So the text of my grandmother used to come over every weekend and she would always be knitting and sewing. And it just, for some reason, I fell in love with the look of the broken stitch, which you can see, I'll get closer later
Sure.
in this gold stitched necklace.
Hmm.
But just fell in love with the broken stitch. And it always went into all of my different arts. I did a lot of sewing as well. I'm better
Ah,
at sewing with metal. But yeah, so it really that's where it came from. And I mean, I love fabrics. I love the way that they drape and the texture of the threads coming together in different weaves. So that's really where the textiles comes into it. So
sure. But you loved it so much that you actually didn't start in jewelry. You started in the textile business, in the clothing business.
yeah, I mean, so I went to an art school, but not for art. I went to Alfred University and studied
Okay.
urban planning. And then, but most of, what I did after urban planning was working in the fashion industry for especially Eileen Fisher, which
Mm.
is really about the fabric and the texture and how it all drapes. And that's what I like to bring to my metal is the way that it drapes. So
It seems like a pretty easy transition. Yeah.
yeah, so with something like this, you can see there are squares that are layered, and that's part of just kind of the the way that I
Oh, yeah.
like
There you go.
to use it. It's not this piece isn't ruffling, but layering like fabric would.
Sure, sure. I can definitely see that in your jewelry, the influence of the fabric. But how did you get to jewelry itself? I mean, you were doing nicely with Eileen Fisher, and
Hmm.
suddenly you ended up as a jewelry designer. I'm sure it's not that that sudden, but it nevertheless was something that obviously interested you.
I mean, I always made art from a young age, and I always wanted it. I wanted whatever I did for earning money and with my life to be something in the creative industry. And I used to make books. I would sew a lot. I used to refurbish furniture I found on the street. And then when I moved back from Paris, where I made some things and sold that on the street there too. When I moved back from Paris and was living in the city, I took some art classes. Drawing, yeah, was never great at that. Clay, way too soft. And I found metal, and I just instantly fell in love with it. And that was it. So I took some classes, and then I decided, you know what, I was working at Eileen Fisher, which I really loved. It was great company, but I felt as if I really wanted to dive into jewelry, and I knew I didn't want to go back to school for 4 years. So I took 2 years at FIT,
Hmm.
which was just a really great program. It's more, I was one of the few, maybe the only art jeweler in the class because it's
Sure,
well, yeah, but just so that was really the path. And then after I graduated, I had 2 kids pretty much right away, had just gotten married, and couldn't really find the mind space or the time. And I was in the city in a small space. And just
sure.
once we moved up to Katona, just that's when I really started the business and started the shows and started the different lines.
Well, your kids are probably a little bit older by then too, and weren't crawling
Yeah,
all over you when you're trying to make something.
yeah, they could be on their own.
Right, right. That's a definite help. So,
So that was really kind of the course
mhm,
of it. And FIT was really, I had some really great teachers, just who really, talked about the precision, and then it really allowed me to do what I wanted to do
sure.
with with the metal and the jewelry and to express myself.
Right. I think it's great they gave you that opportunity and didn't try to limit you in a certain methodology or anything like
I didn't, if they did, I didn't hear it.
that. Well, up until the pandemic, I believe you were selling mostly at trade shows. I think that's where we met
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
mostly at retail trade shows
Hmm.
like ACC. That's how I really started.
Hmm.
Um, Love them. I love the customer interaction,
Sure.
and so now they're on pause.
Yes. How has the pandemic affected you?
Um, I mean, aside, we've all been healthy, and I hope, everyone watching has been because, there's just been um, so much terribleness, and it's been very hard to deal with. I mean, at first, I was exhausted from all the traveling, so it was kind of nice to have a little rest since I couldn't do anything else. I don't know if I really rested.
Well, everything was closed. It was kind of hard to do
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah. So, so, so with the pandemic, I mean, it's been hard and kind of struggling, but I think there are a lot of silver linings
Hmm.
that will come out of this. You know, for me personally, and I'm just talking from really a business
No,
standpoint only.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it's been a struggle to sort of find my way, and I am still trying to find my way. But there have been some different opportunities. I've done some, you know, Zoom. I have Zooms. You know, I've done some different trade shows on Zoom. Um, they're all different kind of fun
Different approaches.
ideas coming out that I don't think we would have thought of to that extent. And everyone's sharing a lot of different ways to engage customers. I mean, it's not the same. And
No.
even today, I had an appearance at a store, and still, you know, had to keep a distance. And even the stores, like, you know, we're slow.
Hmm.
Um, so I think there is a lot of opportunity out there, even though it's really difficult. I mean, right now I'm sitting in front of these, like, you know, a huge ring light and these two lights. And the first time that I got them for this wholesale show I did, I was like, lights, you know, am I going to need these again? I was like, yeah, you know, just it's probably going on for a while. And, you know, just like with your tools, you want to get the best ones you can within
Sure.
reason. You know, I now have lights. So, you know, we're doing things like this on Zoom.
Hmm.
Never did I think I would be somewhat comfortable doing this, you know, talking to you.
Well,
So,
you know, when the times get tough, the tough get going, or something like that. I think I messed that
yeah.
up. But,
Yeah,
but
so I think there's a lot of it's hard, but I think there's a lot of uh, different new ideas coming. You
mhm.
know, at first when it hit, everyone was like, "Oh, I made this," and I really didn't have that creative. It was all dried up. I really didn't have
Hmm.
it, and
Mhm.
you know, then it started to come up back. So does,
Well,
that's my answer.
yeah, it's a bit of a journey, continuing journey, everlasting
Journey.
journey. I
I
think,
that's what it is. That's a good
yeah,
word for it.
yeah, I think, you know, in the future, hopefully people will be working together more, trying to figure out how to reach the customers. You know, be working with galleries more, hopefully, and but also have other alternative ways that you can reach out, such as this here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really great collaborations going on. I
Hmm.
mean, like we probably wouldn't have done this, and you know, it just kind
Probably
of,
not.
yeah, you know,
Probably not.
so
What,
um,
what, well, let me ask you this. What inspires you? What makes you want to design jewelry?
well, I think there's what makes me want to design jewelry. I love the art of jewelry in that it's small sculpture,
Hmm.
um, and it's wearable. So it, it so it's going to be used.
Right,
And
right.
so I
Instead of sitting
love,
on a shelf, yeah.
yeah, so I love playing with that scale. Textiles inspires me, and also nature.
Hmm.
Um, I live through all these woods, and I'm out every day walking, and so that the natural, like, layering in nature and the contours and the lines in nature are
Hmm.
a huge inspiration. But as far as jewelry, the fact that it's wearable and that it's sort of like endless. You can really try to push your mind to try to create what you want to. You know, and I'll sit with an idea. Oops, I'm sorry. I will sit with an idea for, you know, sometimes like a couple years. sometimes longer before it actually comes
Yeah,
out.
before you actually try to flush it out and develop it. Well, why don't you show us some of your jewelry a little bit in detail, maybe how you made it, what you were thinking about when you made it, what you were trying to accomplish with it.
Okay, I'm just
I love the
gonna,
way, yeah, I love the way you mix in your knitting or your stitching with a silver wire. I think that's very unique.
I'm gonna try to, I will pick up the camera, but what I got here was, um, so this earring right here, which
Mm-hmm.
is, it's all
Oh, there we
clustered
go.
and it's made up of little squares. I mean, this is inspired really from walking through the woods and seeing all the different ground growth layered upon layered. And this is sort of how it came out for
Mm-hmm.
me. So, but this is made up of 14 little squares that I make. Each square is stitched. So it starts as the back. And tell me, can you see this? Is this working?
Yes, you can see the
So
back of it. Yes.
it starts as the back and then the back form. And then I drill all these holes in it. And then what's going to happen is I make little squares. So I'll cut out a little square and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll solder on a little piece of wire to it, drill holes, and then I will, you probably can't see that, I will, um, there,
Oh, yeah.
stitch it through. Um, so,
I see. Yeah.
and then, all these squares will go in, and there's a very specific pattern. Oh,
Now, is the stitching actually holding the squares together, or do you actually solder them?
no, it's actually, they are, so the stitching, what I'll do then is I'll go in with heat and I will ball these up. I really don't attach my jewelry
Mm-hmm.
through stitching. It doesn't feel strong enough. So
Okay.
I really want that jewelry to stay. There's actually one piece here that I do. But so let me just show you. I'll take my camera off and show you
Okay.
some pieces.
Put it around there.
Yeah. Is that little button on the bottom?
Yes, it should do it.
Okay.
Well, actually, well, I don't know how you're set.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. There you are. Oh, yeah. Can you kind of zoom in on the earrings in the stand
Yeah.
there?
So these are the earrings, which were part of that necklace, and these are two parts, and they swing. This
Oh,
is
okay.
the small pair. So it's 4 pieces, and I'm going to show it to you before it's stitched. So it's stitched with fine wire, and so I'll make the pieces, and I will drill the holes, so you can see.
Oh, yeah. You can see that. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see some of those holes. And then I'll actually pulled out my pattern. And then I have a pattern with directions of
Oh,
like
wow.
which hole to start on, and then that this is going to wrap around, front and back. And then I
Sure.
have it for the other side as well, because I can never remember. And I
Huh.
want it to look the same. So,
That's
it
amazing.
goes from that to,
So
yeah.
the stitching kind of pulls together the two components, but doesn't hold it together per se. Is that correct?
Right. And
Okay.
it really creates the texture and the depth
Yes. The
to
3
it.
dimensions. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the small size. And then you have the necklace. Sorry, I hope I'm not moving the camera.
No, you're okay. That's oxidized sterling silver you're working with there?
Yeah, so it's actually, I work with argentium silver.
Argentine, okay.
I'm just going to put this over here
Okay.
on a whiter background. So I work with argentium silver, not that you can tell when it's oxidized or blackened.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about it in the bright silver is that it's highly tarnish resistant.
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
I'm back.
Yes, I see
And
that very
so,
well.
I have the pieces. So this soldered together. This piece
Okay, at that
usually
point,
takes
yeah.
me, it takes about 2 to 3 hours just to stitch this piece because they go through each other. And then you have the other, links as well.
I see. Oh, yes. It looks very
So,
complicated.
uh, I mean, at first that front piece is, and then I'm going to show you. This is the this is a. I'm sorry, it keeps pausing. A smaller version of the necklace that I'm wearing. So I'm trying to see if we can see it. So this has squares that are attached, and then here's my stitching. It's
Oh,
all
yeah,
in a
yes.
pattern. And
Mm-hmm.
then these are 22 karat gold pieces that I'll cut out and solder on. And then I really love movement. So, it has movement in it.
So
And
that's actually a 22 karat gold that you solder on, did you say? It's not a vermeil or something like that?
it's a bimetal. So bimetal
Okay, I
is,
see.
the wire is pure 22 karat gold, but the
Mm-hmm.
bimetal is gold bonded to sterling. It's thicker than a vermeil or a plating. So it's
Okay.
different in that. But you can see also, my pattern. I have the what holes I'm going into when. I have the
Yes.
size of the little
Wow.
gold squares, and then these are how many little gold squares I need for the whole necklace.
That must
So,
be very time consuming. How long does it take to make something like that?
it's funny. I usually make them in groups because this one takes. I'm trying. You know what? I haven't. I have to. This is my. I have to say this is my last one that I have, and I haven't. And I make things in batches. And I'm used to having inventory with the shows, so I
Right.
haven't made it in a while. But they probably take about. I have it down to about 3-4 hours each, but that's really, from having done it multiple times, and then
Right.
also my directions.
It, I tell you, I could never follow those directions. I'm glad you can.
Yeah, most people can't. And then this is going to be hard to show with, can I put my camera down for 1 second?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, here, I'm going to, actually, before I do that, so here, I'm going to.
Okay, move it in a frame.
Yeah, so this is really one of my best-selling earrings. And this is a 3-piece earring. It's oxidized and bright argentium silver
Right.
stitched with fine silver. And that earring actually, I'm going to put the camera down for a sec.
Okay. We have a blur.
There we go. So this earring actually comes apart, and you can make 4 earrings out of it. So you can
4,
make,
wow.
yeah, a 2-piece earring.
Okay.
You can just wear the post that is dark, the post separately. You can
Mm-hmm.
make an all black earring with the silver stitching, or you have the 3 pieces
Huh.
together.
And how do you break it down like that?
What do you mean?
Well, you start with 3 or 4 pieces, then you pull it apart. I mean, how do you pull it apart? How's it connected so you
Oh,
can pull
got
it
it.
apart?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So there's a little hole that they all feed through, that the post goes into.
Oh, I see. You just you move the post then.
Yeah, you don't even have
Okay.
to move the post. It's just there, and you just
Okay.
feed these on top of it.
I see. That's
And
pretty cool.
and it stays. I really like when jewelry can when you can do multiple things with it. You know, like most of my necklaces are adjustable. Um, like this, I know we're switching away from like this
Okay.
pearl necklace. You can see Chinese freshwater baroque pearls, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Beautiful.
adjustable in back by 3
Oh,
inches.
yes.
You know, because you never
Mm-hmm.
know what neckline you're going to be wearing with it.
Sure.
And then even, you know, this earring. This is my new circle line, and this is 2 pieces. It has a little teeny square from that last
Oh, I see.
collection,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take the, trying to do this with one hand and not make everybody nauseous. And then it comes apart. So you can wear it just as a little
Wow.
post,
Yeah,
or you can wear it with the bottom piece.
that's really cool. I like
Yeah.
multiple uses. I always tell people, you know, you get 2 for the price of 1, so therefore it's really half price. That's why.
I like that. Like here, it's even more. You get 1 for the price of 4. No, 4
Wow.
for the price of 1. 4 for the price of 1. Sorry.
So you're only paying 25% then.
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. I've even had people, you know, buy, you know, some people have bought just because you can buy just the 2 pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
then later, you know, get the third.
I was going to ask you if you can do that. So you can actually buy a third piece to attach to it at a later time. That's
Yeah.
that's really interesting. I think
Yeah.
that's
So
great.
like people might, you know, they might buy the 2 piece from you and then, you know, contact you and say, you know, can you ask the artist if I can, you know, get that third piece?
It's like stackable rings.
It
Stackable
is.
earrings, yeah.
I don't really make many rings.
Well, it's
So
okay.
maybe before this pandemic is over, I will make some more rings.
Aha. Well, earrings and necklaces are good because you don't have to resize them.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So,
Um, Also, just I like working with different colors. I mean, you
mhm.
know, yes, it's silver, black, and
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 gold.
gold,
Yeah.
but I like playing with the metal. This is all, you know, this is actually one stitch that holds them all together. This is the first time, but
Oh,
it's a strong wire, you
okay.
know, that holds them together.
So there's
Oops.
no multiple use there because you can't take it apart.
No, you know, I did actually make it that way at first, but it was too complicated and cumbersome. It
Hmm.
just kind of fell apart everywhere. Whereas um, this really, you know, it's straight. This is straightforward.
Hmm.
You know, it's easy. It doesn't, you know, do that. But yeah, it's just kind of too complicated and then didn't hang straight.
That's very cool. So that one is really hung together just by the fine silver wire then.
This is actually Argentium wire.
Argentium wire. Okay.
Yeah, and it, yeah. So that's the
That's
way this
great.
one's done. So, um, should I show you one more piece?
You can show one more piece, then maybe we'll wind it up a little bit.
Okay. So, this is the Anna earring,
Ah,
named after a friend, and this is
hmm.
Argentium metal. I've fused on the edge this, not the gold, but there's a little ridge here that's fused on. And then this is all stitched with 22 karat gold wire.
Wow.
And that's the nice thing about Argentium. You can fuse it together. I really fell in love with it because of the bright white color,
Hmm.
um, and its ability to, you know, its high tarnish resistantness.
Sure.
But yeah, so, and you can see here, like there's a little bit of a fold, you know, nothing is completely flat. I don't know, it's hard. I don't know if you can see it here, but it has kind of a little
Yeah.
wave, just kind of trying to be more, you know, have the movement and I guess a little bit more like textile.
Sure. Yeah, you can definitely see the influence of textiles in your work.
So, yeah.
Well, what is it that you love most about making jewelry? What is it, why do you do this? We talked a little bit about it before, but
Yeah, it's really the I'm just gonna put this back. It's really the creativity.
Hmm.
Just the ability to create, also build. I mean, jewelry, there it's like small engineering in a
Hmm.
way. You know, it's problem solving, trying to figure out how to create what's in your mind in actuality. So I love the problem solving. I love the design aspect. I actually love putting together a collection and I mean, you can see I like playing with shapes.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
usually like asymmetrical, but
Hmm. Very free
so
form, a lot of organic shapes too. Yeah.
yeah. So that's really what I love. It's also it's so nice to just sit and make jewelry when I can really do like long stretches.
Hmm. Well, I think that's great. We really do love your jewelry. We're so happy to have you as part of our gallery.
I'm thrilled to be really with you know your gallery. It's just it really has spectacular jewelry on it, spectacular artists.
Well, thank you very much. And with that, I think we'll sign off.
Okay.
We are going to continue doing more of these Instagram Live broadcasts in the future. We have talked to a few of the artists, but we haven't lined them up yet. But we definitely will let everyone know once we do.
I saw some the last week, so it's great. I'll look forward to them. Thank you,
That's
John.
great. Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us, Suzanne.
All right. Take
Okay,
care.
sure. Good night.
Good night.